Hello, and welcome back. I am Vic, or Tyler, depends on how you prefer it. I respond to both, I don't mind either, that's fine. So I am the owner and the only one in the LikeNoOtter shop. From the start it was called Vicky Love Studios, but it didn't feel as correct to like who I am anymore. So I went through a legal process and everything, and I have changed it legally to LikeNoOtter shop. It also matches my logo a lot better. But I wanted to talk a little bit about me for once. And I wanted to talk a little bit about who I am and why I do what I do, and some things related to that. Starting off, I genuinely should not buy any more smart dolls. I tell you, I love Courage. She was my grail ever since I saw her. I love her to bits. She's amazing. But I didn't know that Danny was gonna produce her basically as a forever doll. If I'd known that, I would have waited with her purchase. And that's just me being really excited. As soon as I saw her, I was like, yes, she's mine, I'm grabbing her, I don't care. It wasn't the most sound economical choice. Isn't doll ever a sound economical choice? But it's she makes me happy. The same thing with Monday, who's way over there. And ignore the fact that Coral is sitting there naked posing. I am gonna take some new pictures soon of clothes. For example, a little MSD size dress coming up. And there's also some Kelpie / Pichu / Sleepy Sheepy size items coming up as well. And a large set of Smart Doll items. Again, Smart Doll is the size I prefer to sew for. Partially because I don't have the patience to sew super tiny. I know that I can sew smaller, I can sew human-sized stuff. I'm gonna try to start sewing some human-sized stuff. I have one dress cut out and ready to sew in human size, but it's very, very limited what I make in for humans, and I don't know if I'm gonna sell it or not, because I don't know what size to make things for it to sell. For the doll clothes, however, it's a lot easier. But yeah, I identify as, I guess, non-binary, but I prefer he, him pronouns. I don't mind they, them, and I don't get mad when you call me she, her, but it's not what I prefer. I'm on the masculine spectrum, and I also have a genetic condition called Marfan syndrome, which basically affects all connective tissue in my body. This includes my eyes, my skeleton, my circulatory system, everything. And it sucks. It does. I don't have it as bad as some people do, and I'm happy for that, I guess. But I don't wish for anyone to have this diagnosis. It's not fun. I take beta blockers, which is a heart medication, daily, and I've done that since I was like, as long as I can remember. I've had multiple eye surgeries to be able to see like a normal human being, and I still need glasses. I've had operations done on my feet due to arthritis and skeletal deformities. I have a skeletal deformity in my chest. I have scoliosis. it's a lot to handle sometimes. Some days I'm in more pain, some days I barely think about it because I'm used to it. But I recently had an arthritis flare-up in my left ankle, which it hurt. It's a very sharp kind of pain, and I can't do much about it other than like taking some pain medications and like sit it out, I guess. It's a bit rough when I have a job where I, for like 4 hours, have to get up into a crane. Or I sometimes have to walk out on steel plates and stuff, because I currently work at SSAB, a steel mill from around here, which I like that job. It pays very well, which is why I even had the opportunity to buy Courage as a spontaneous purchase. And my hubby has a full-time job there, while I'm just a summer worker. So we're pretty set economically either way, even though me getting a full-time job would be very good. Because then we could get a house and I could upgrade like my workstation. Because right now, this is basically the size of the room I work in that you can see right now. It's very, very small. And over here you can actually just see my computer and stuff. It's a really small room. It's like the size of a king-size bed, that's it. And from the beginning I worked from our living room, which that was even more cramped. But yeah, I know that I'm still lucky to have this amount of space and be able to do this hobby on such a level where I have the money to actually just like have this many dolls and like support other artists as well, and have the like money to actually have a room I can work in. But at the moment I basically juggle a full-time job and a nearly full-time job with the shop. The shop is a lot of work because I currently sell on 2 websites and they're not linked, which is Etsy and my privately run shop, LikeNoOttershop.com, where I charge less money for each product because Etsy takes a lot of fees, and I'm sorry to say it, but I do change the price to accommodate the Etsy fees, because I can't really lose that much, like over 10% in profits. I already work with a really small margin for what I make. Like even just an item like this tiny shirt, yes, there's a small amount of fabric, but it takes a lot of time making a pattern that works. It takes a lot of time and skill to actually sew something that will fit at all, to make the seams look good, troubleshoot my sewing machines. I upgraded my sewing machines recently. I sent one of my new sewing machines out for reparation because it went out of sync and had to, re-sync up, and I paid extra money just so that I have free repairs for 5 years on that thing, because it's one of my incomes. It's a legal business. I do business taxes myself. I do all the sewing, all the pattern making, I order the fabrics, I do all the shipping, I package everything myself. The only thing that I might not always do myself is getting the package to the post office. That's basically it. Sometimes my hubby gets to do that for me if I'm busy with other work, or if he's gonna go out for a moment or something, and I just say, hey, can you just put these in the box for me? And he's lovely. I love him. We're engaged and everything, so... Excuse me, I forgot to put my ring back on. I cooked food a moment ago, so I forgot to actually put the ring back on after it. But I'm happy with him, he's lovely. But that's unrelated. So, other than having a physical disability, I am neurodivergent. I have autism. I basically have Asperger's. I am not like mentally impaired. I just think differently and handle emotions differently and a lot of things like that. So I'm under multiple forms of stress, both physically and mentally, and I have a pain all the time, just to different degrees. So it sometimes becomes a lot for me to handle, and sometimes I forget things, I mess up an order. Again, if I get 12 orders in one day, it's a lot to process since there's so many different individual items that I just put together in a bag and ship, that I'm honestly surprised that I haven't had more messed up orders. I think I've had like 2. And I've made over 1,000 sales very recently. And to only mess up like 2 of them, that's insanely good margins for me. But I guess also because I focus very easily on things I find interesting and I wanna do. I do focus on my customers. I remember customers' names. Some of my regular customers, I shine up whenever I read your names. You make my day, honestly. And orders mean a lot to me, even if it's just ordering a tiny pair of doll socks. It does mean a lot to me because it puts me just a step closer to being able to at least run the shop as like a part-time job and not needing a full-time job as well. I love doing the shop. I still enjoy it as a hobby, and getting new dolls is sometimes a decision based on the shop, but most of the time it's an emotional decision and it's to boost myself. The dolls are a part of my comfort. Just like I have a couple of fursuits I use very rarely, but I love them to bits. They make my day when I see them, and actually fursuiting takes a lot of effort from me physically, and I can't do it on a regular basis, especially not this time of year because it's warm. If I was comfortable with my own body, I wouldn't wear clothes right now. But I'm not, so I'll stay clothes. Either way, I love that Culture Japan / Smart Doll has been working a lot with visibility and showing off that you can be beautiful even with disabilities and stuff like that. Just a simple thing like an inhaler for my dolls makes them a lot more human and approachable. Same thing with an insulin pump. I had a pump like that when I was younger, but I didn't need insulin. It was for different medication. But I had an insulin pump for quite a while when I was younger, and if I'd had a Barbie doll with that too, I would have felt a lot more confident about it. Because kids can be mean, and kids need to see representation, and adults too, for that matter. Survivor, the burn victims doll, she looks gorgeous and deserves love as much as any of the other dolls. I love my Vitiligo girls. I don't have that myself because it's hard to get paler than I am, not gonna lie, but I love it. It's honestly a beautiful condition. I've seen it on some people in person and online and everything, and honestly I think everyone with it is gorgeous. Everyone without it is gorgeous too. Just, it's a condition that's really cool. It's quite rare. Things like getting a prosthetic leg for your doll is also mind-blowing, because it's such an easy thing to do for certain dolls, but the companies just don't. They don't make a prosthetic leg because why would they? People don't buy that kind of stuff, like, but people do. People buy that kind of stuff. People want that kind of stuff. The latest girl who just got released with the acne scars, I relate to her. I might not get her myself, I don't know yet. But I have mild OCD related to my autism. And I do skin picking. It might not be visible because this camera is flattering. But as soon as I feel and like see bumps on my face, especially, I have to start pushing and prodding and picking, and I don't get satisfied until I get something out of it. Sometimes I have some of these that like basically every day fill up with some white gunk, and I just squish it out because it's a thing that calms me. It's very satisfying to me. I know I shouldn't. You should not do this. I don't recommend it, but it's something that helps me cope. Just like how some people pick on hairs on their body, it helps them cope. And it's not the best coping mechanism, it's not the worst. It could be a lot worse. I could have some of the coping mechanisms I had when I was a kid. And those weren't nearly as healthy. Again, it's not a healthy coping mechanism. You shouldn't need a coping mechanism, but it's something that I just have to do. But I've moved on from some of those things to, I guess, less severe things. I'm a lot better at ignoring some of the things that I do, better at ignoring some of the things that my brain tells me to do. But I have constant, like, intrusive thoughts and everything. My brain tells me a lot of things. It's not like random voices, it's just like a feeling of a thought. It's kind of a nagging feeling. Let's say if you're holding a wine glass, it's a nagging feeling that's telling me smash, 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 smash it. It's just an underlying feeling that's just pushing the limit a little bit, which is annoying. Some days it's worse than others, but I have learned to cope. I'm on antidepressants and they help. I take a lot of medications. I am slightly overweight, probably due to my mental health, but also because I recently got the diagnosis of hypothyreosis. I'll spell it out for you. And it basically makes that some of my hormones don't work like they should. And that's probably kind of why I have an easier time gaining weight than losing it. I don't look fat, I don't look obese. I'm not obese. I am overweight, I know that. My doctors know it, I know it. We all know it. Commenting on my weight will not help. Same thing as commenting on, oh, you walk weird. Well, it's because I actually have like a medically sealed joint in one of my feet. Like, some of the bones are fused. I can't move them more than a certain amount. Basically, my left foot, I can't do much more than like this with it. While my right foot, I can do a full fold. And yeah, I walk weird because of that. Surprise, if you couldn't move your foot, you'd walk weird too. But it doesn't mean that I'm mentally impaired just because I walk weird or because I look a little bit different. Like my body shape isn't the most common. I have weird proportions due to morphons. Whatever. Okay, I'm kind of over how I look weird, because it doesn't freaking matter. We're all humans, okay? At least I'm not a dick pointing it out. I'm sorry for swearing about that, but that's basically how I feel. Just a piece of work to actually point those things out to certain people. It's like, yeah, I've lived with this since I was born. You don't have to point out that I walk funny because I have arthritis and fused bones. I'm aware. I try to walk as normal as I can for my health, not because I have to please someone else. But with all of these things, with physical ailments and everything, I do have days where I don't feel like working on the shop, when I don't feel like actually going to my main work. But I still do. I work through it. Not always. Some days I feel like I'm lazy because I sit and play games for like a couple of days, or I like sleep a certain amount of time and everything, but honestly, I know that I'm not lazy because of it. I take some time off for myself, because working 24/7 is not healthy. And that's kind of what I wanted to get to with this. I might take breaks sometimes. Sometimes it might take a couple of days longer for an order to ship. It might be because of my physical health, my mental health, the state of the world. It just happens because I am just a human, and I am not just a business. I'm not Amazon. I'm not Wish. I'm not any of the big companies. I'm just me sitting in like basically a I'm just me sitting in like a glorified closet with windows, sewing and designing because I think it's fun, and to support my household, to support my hobbies, and as a part of like my general life. I enjoy being a part of the BAD hobby. I enjoy being a furry. Yeah, insert furry jokes here. I enjoy these things, and that's why I do them. Sometimes though, like any other human, I can't work 24/7. I can't work like 16 hours a day, every day of the week, because that's not how humans work. That's not how I work. Sometimes I need like 12 hours of sleep in a day because that's how I work. That's how my body wants it to be. I try to like not sleep too much or too little and everything, but like I have a solid knowledge of how much I do have to sleep to be a functional member of society. And sadly I do have to be a functional member of society a lot of the time, and not just an autistic little rat sitting here in my room like yes, I'm gonna sort buttons for 12 hours, because I would sort buttons for 12 hours. I have urges to sort things randomly. One of the local fabric shops, she loves when I come there because I sort her fabrics as I go through them, because that's the easiest way for me to look at every fabric, and I like to put them back neatly because that's how I want to see them whenever I come in. So that's also a strain on me mentally. It doesn't help that I am bad with economic decisions. The doll hobby isn't a good economic decision. I could have way worse hobbies, of course. I could like literally burn money if I wanted to, I guess, but I genuinely and truly love this hobby, and the dolls make me happy. Even though I could have waited with buying courage. I've been emotionally drained recently, and knowing that she came out for sale and I didn't know that Dunny was gonna put her up as a forever doll, I had to grab her because she's been on my mind ever since I first saw her. And she just warms my heart. I love her to bits. She is gorgeous. I honestly can't choose if she or Monday is my favorite doll at the moment, because they're both just amazing. But that's a part of it all, okay? I'm human, I need to take breaks, things happen. And my prices are the way they are because I need to make at least minimum wage when I work. I love sewing. I don't want to be a high-end doll brand. That's not my goal. I like the more everyday wear of it. I want it to be clothes that you put on your doll and keep on your doll for long times, and not just like, oh, a fancy gown that the doll wears for one event, then it's thrown away. You know, I like the fashion to be more sustainable. It's why I use some recycled fabrics at times, and sometimes I don't order more of a certain fabric because, well, if it doesn't sell, why should I grab and waste a ton of fabric that nobody wants clothes made out of? Some of the fabrics I have are for my own sake because I love fabrics. I have like a metric ton of fabric in this room. I'm not gonna show all of the fabrics, but like I have a full drawer thing full of fabrics. I have multiple boxes. It's a lot. And yeah, I'm partially a hoarder, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and to share some of my like thoughts and how my brain works when I just ramble. I just needed to get some of these things out there, and I love all of you guys. I love every single one of my customers. I am sadly not gonna send more orders to Germany due to the new package laws in Germany. I'll put a link about the package laws below if you're also a business owner or if you have any questions about the package law. But it's a lot of work, and I have to sign up for a register as well as signing up to like work together with a different company and pay a certain like amount of money for them to help and handle the packages and stuff, and it costs me more time, money and effort than I actually get back from selling to Germany. So I'm super sad about that. Some of my regulars are from Germany, but it's not enough for me to put in that kind of work. So either way, I'm gonna say that you should all have a lovely day. You should check out my shop either on Etsy as ShopLikeNoOtter or on my website likeNoOttershop.com, where you get all the same goodies but roughly like 10% cheaper than on Etsy, so, and also like multiple weeks before they end up on Etsy. So if you want something when it releases and cheaper, go to my website. Thank you guys so much for sticking around this long, and thank you so much for getting me over 1,000 Etsy sales, as well as recent Instagram follower milestones. Every one of you means a lot to me and lets me know that I'm not doing all of this in vain. I'm doing this to help and support other people as well. If it wasn't for the money I made off of these things, I wouldn't be able to support all the other artists I support. So, love, and have a very lovely night.